Cyberbrainer is an online training platform designed to help individuals and teams learn the latest technologies and become certified professionals, producing a comprehensive learning experience.
Business process security policies, role-based security policies, and user-based security groups. So just to give you a recap, so we saw about role-based in the first place, and role-based security groups, as you all know, can be assigned at different organizations level, which is company cost-centered locations and supervisors, supervisory organizations, and then my roles are going to be assigned to a position or to a user. And, as far as security groups are concerned, we have currently seen only two types of security groups. One is role-based and user-based. There are other types of security groups as well, but I do not want to go into that at this moment. For now, just remember only role-based and user-based security groups, which should be sufficient for you at a foundation level. So if you go more into it, it's going to be more confusing to you. And next thing, we've seen about business process security policies, and we've also seen how that is going to be tied to a role-based security group where you can do the mapping and how this actually works. We've seen about business process security so far. The next topic that we are going to be seeing is domain security policies and functional areas, domains, subdomains. So that is going to be predominantly the topic that we are going to be seeing over today. So that's the agenda for the day. And, like I said, so I've just been going through all of this. I've been trying to do as much as I can. That's why you see a lot of windows opened on my tenant actually, which is trying to go over all the hire and other business processes as well, trying to see how I can just fit in and the proxy policies and everything. So there are lots of proxy policies which were just actually not allowing us to have more people as proxy. So that's why. Alright. So let me come out of proxy. Let me just go in as carefully. And I bring the idea of Teresa on chat. So you can use Teresa's ID for any kind of proxying as well. So we have 3 IDs right now. So probably map it accordingly as per your business needs for any roles or assignments that you're going to be doing. Alright. So, like I said earlier, so first we saw about business process security policy. So what exactly a business process security policy deals with is, whenever I have a business process, something like changing the details of an employee, which we call it as change or business process, I could hire somebody. I could terminate somebody. I can have a compensation change for somebody for all of these business processes. I can have an event and I can decide who can do what in that particular event. That is what is called as a business process security policy. That is number 1. Second, if I come across to the other type of business or the other type of security policy, it is called as domain security policy. Domain security policy is nothing but what you see on this page, actions and everything else, alright. Whatever information that you see on this page is controlled by a domain. It's controlled by a domain. Like I said yesterday, first up, when I go to Carol Lee's compensation, relevant information. This particular compensation should not be seen by everybody. Only specific users with appropriate access should be able to see the compensation information, because this is considered to be highly confidential. Probably your manager or people who deal with the compensation and the payroll support structure of the organization can see this. Rest of them cannot see this particular information. Clear. So that is where, in order to control all of this, we have something called as domain security policies. Clear thus far? What is the purpose of a domain security policy? Any questions over here? Sorry, I thought I heard somebody. Alright. Now in order to access domains, so I don't know why it's not coming out of proxy here. Alright. Now let me just open the domain specific to the employee's compensation and we'll proceed from there. Yesterday we saw about how the business process policy is going to be looking like. So the business process policy is going to decide who can do what in a business process event. So in any event, we can decide who can do what. Whereas your domain security policy is going to decide who can see what information and do what task. That's what your domain is going to be. For example, let me go to the employee compensation information and I'll proceed on with this particular specific domain for Carolee's compensation. Alright. So what I do in the search is, I just put it like domain. As you all know, domain is going to be the prefix for any employee. Sorry, domain prefix is prefix for any. Sorry, domain is specifically the prefix to view any domain-specific information, and then I put over here as employee compensation. I don't have that specific domain. Compensation change. Worker compensation. Let me check if I have worker compensation details. Worker data compensation. Okay. Let me just put all of these information so that it's easy for you. I can show everything. Alright. So what I do is, instead of putting not employee into employee compensation, I just put over here as worker compensation. I prefix it by the domain, which is the keyword to view any domain-specific details. I say domain worker compensation. I get so many different domains. All of these are going to control every single information that you see here. So, for example, compensation can be viewed by the compensation teams and then the employee stock portfolio. If the employee is eligible for ESOPs, then he should be able to view the employee stock information. And if the employer, particular person does not have the information, does not have the privileges to view them, then they should not be able to view the employee stock portfolio. Now, if I go across to all of these domains are going to control who can see what information in my employees page. Alright. Now I'm just opening the second one over here, which says worker data compensation. Worker data compensation is one of my domains that I'm going to be choosing. And if you see over here, this domain is going to control or it is going to contain all the details about the compensation information of any worker. Any worker. This domain is going to contain and also control who can view what compensation information for any worker. Alright. That is number 1. Number 2, if you see over here, every domain is going to belong to something called as a functional area. And we have different functional areas in Workday or bifunctional areas. You can assume it's something like a module kind of a thing. So this particular information is related to core compensation. Likewise, we have so many other functional areas which could be like recruiting, onboarding, payroll, absence, time tracking. We have so many different functional areas. So each of these functional areas is in a nutshell. You can see a collection of domains, or in an easily accessible or an easily understandable